brew the tea, you don't need to expect that, oh, this has to be the certain taste.
Yeah.
And then, oh, I'm looking forward the taste that I taste last time.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
There are so many factors involved. The water temperature, your mood that day,
Right. Yeah.
and then how long you brew the tea. It's all these factors involved. So I think for me, it's like that's the most interesting part of tea, because you just realize that just embrace the taste of that tea that day.
All right. Welcome, friends. Thank you for joining us. I'd like to introduce you to Huei-Ling Shiang. This is a tea master in the area of Seattle, Washington, in the United States. And I wanted to introduce her and Mooncake and bring some of her knowledge and tea magic to the rest of the community. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you, John.
Excellent. Yeah. We had a bit of a technological snafu, so we get to re-record the introduction. So we were already introduced to Mooncake, who's been wandering around and gracing us with her presence. And if you don't mind retelling the story, how did you first experience tea when you were growing up?
In Taiwan, tea is part of the daily life. Even though like coffee getting more and more popular, but I think almost every household they should have a bag of tea somewhere.
Yeah.
And then when guests come over, usually the host will ask them, "Do you want a cup of tea or brewed tea?" So my father always brew a cup of tea, even though it's not like a ceremonial style. But always, I think the first thing is in the morning when he woke up, always make a cup of tea first, and then I can see that I still can see him sitting there reading newspaper and then have a cup of tea on the desk. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that often it wasn't any special tea, it was a tea that was given as a gift. And the classic way that often, if you're going to give a gift to somebody, tea makes a wonderful gift. Highly recommended.
Yeah. Holiday or or Teachers' Day, then people or parents usually either buy some good tea or fruit or things like that. Yeah, but tea is always a very good gift. Yeah.
That's a good point. Do you have a recommendation for a good beginner's tea?
It all depends on everybody's individual's preference, right? So I think black tea, everybody know black tea, so black tea is always a good start, and then there's some oolong too. So beginner, if you want to learn how to drink tea, get some good quality, but not so pricey. Yeah, just try the tea.
I've noticed it's a lot of the time, if I see tea being sold or recommended, it's often a fancy blend or something that's 30 years old and super expensive. And so people feel either priced out of it or that maybe tea is too fancy for them.
Yeah.
When it's funny how, at least here in the States and in Costa Rica where I lived, tea was a very fancy thing. Only like a really expensive wine or something. But then all of the actual tea people that I spend my time with, tea is just a thing that you drink every day. It's part of your daily life.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be a fancy ceremony. You don't have to get dressed up to do it.
No,
You don't have to scare mooncake away. You can just drink your tea.
Yeah.
And I really like that.
Yeah. I mean, in Taiwan, there are so many tea houses. And then there are tea houses that right in the city that when you walk in, you completely forget that you are in the busy city. So it's a place for people to get together with friends, or a place you just be there by yourself to drink, very quietly to drink the tea. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's really. I don't think that you need to brew the tea that very like have to sit there very nicely or very formally. Yeah, that's good too. But I think drinking tea, there are so many different purposes. So, for example, if you want to do a formal tea tasting, of course you need to pay attention to the tea and then taste, all kinds of notes of the tea. Then, but at the same time, you can be just like very casual.
Yeah.
You just share the tea with your friends, and then you chat at the same time.
I love that.
Yeah.
And
Very relaxing.
It's really relaxing. And the medicine of the tea works on you, whether or not you bring in the medicine of meditation or stillness. Those can come with it, but just drinking the tea by itself can be a wonderful way to bring people together and to make us feel calm. I know that when I used to be very anxious all of the time, and I noticed that when I would sit and drink tea with friends, more than any other occasion, I would feel much more settled and relaxed, and it was easier for me to be with people. And so, yeah, the tea as a social lubricant, as a way to heal friendships and bring people together.
Yes.
Humans and cats.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm a freelance translator too.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. I mostly translate books on Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism. So it's very meditative when I'm doing the translation at home by myself, sitting in front of the computer. But sometimes it can be very stressful too.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because you need to really think a lot how to translate it. And then, I always have a tea set next to me. So for me, that I notice that when I do my work and then I turn to look at the tea set, and then I brew a cup of tea. It's kind of a reset. Also, a very brief moment away from the business.
That's right.
Right, the stress. So I think it's very helpful for me to have both.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
At the same time. Yeah.
What a great idea.
Yeah.
Do you have recommendations for people, both as a tea person and a Buddhist? Do you have a recommendation for how people can use tea to bring those moments of stillness into their lives?
My experience is that, when we, of course, for beginners, learn how to learn about tea and how to brew tea, how to brew a good, tasty and good tea.
Yeah, that's right.
It's very technical. Of course, it's, no matter you learn it's Gong Fu or Tai Chi, you need that basic, the 基本功. You need to practice how to brew the tea.
Right.
And then once you go beyond that, it can be very spontaneous. Right? You don't when you brew the tea, you don't need to expect that, this has to be the certain taste.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking forward the taste that I taste last time.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
There are so many factors involved. The water temperature, your mood that day.
Right. Yeah.
And then how long you brew the tea. It's all these factors involved. So I think for me, it's like that's the most interesting part of tea, because you just realize that just embrace the taste of that tea that day.
Yeah.
That brew of tea.
That's right.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Every sip is different.
Yeah, it's
the
different.
tea is different, and you're different every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're doing it right, every time you drink it, it changes you.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it's a big surprise. Oh, I never taste this note before. Now I notice it. Yeah, and then it's really fun.
I love that.
Yeah.
And for the people who are relatively new to tea, they might be surprised to hear you using terms like the notes, the flavors. Can you talk a little bit about how to detect those and how to develop our palate in that way?
Again, practice, because it take me many years to do that. And when first when I taste the tea, I will know, oh, this is really good. It tastes really good, right? That's the first thing with a good quality tea. It make you feel very good. You don't feel like here is very tight. Sometimes it's a sign of using a pesticide. Yeah, and then it has a very pleasant taste, and you like it. You feel happy with it.
Right.
And then that's the basic standard for good tea. And sorry, what's your question again?
Oh, about that you're mentioning tones.
The notes.
Yeah, notes. Yeah.
Yeah. So it does need to practice for myself. Like I will say, oh, I taste something, but I don't connect the dot. Some people can. It's like tasting coffee or tasting wine.
Right.
Some people are very sensitive. Say, oh, it tastes of dark chocolate. Right. Or taste of vanilla. Or taste of this flower and that flower. Yeah. So for me, at the beginning, I only can taste. Say, oh, I taste something, but I cannot describe what kind of taste.
Sure.
And then, but gradually learning, and the good things, having tea with a group of friends.
Yeah.
And then you can share that experience. And when some people is very sensitive about the taste, the notes, and then when that person says something, oh, I taste gardenia. Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah, yeah.
That's that, and then you remember that. So next time when you taste that note, and then you know, oh, that's gardenia.
Yeah, I love that.
Or jasmine. Yeah, it's all about practicing, and then drinking tea often, and then having tea with friends.
I really appreciate that. Yeah, I've noticed that as I've grown in my ability to appreciate those notes in tea, somebody will mention, oh, this is a very marine flavor, or like you said, a very smooth experience, the feeling in your throat.
Yeah.
After somebody points it out, and for me, I'm slow, so sometimes it takes a few times, then my experience of the tea next time becomes richer because I didn't notice it before. And now I go, oh yeah, it's a little bit grassy, or it's a little bit this.
Yeah.
Huh, that's interesting. And so now I can distinguish between the teas, whereas before maybe it all sort of tasted like tea, but I didn't know how to feel or experience it more deeply. And so I think that's one of the gifts of drinking with friends that are more experienced with it, and who are willing to share, and then your own complexity, the experience goes more deep with the tea, and so you appreciate it more. And I really like that.
Yeah.
Do you offer tea tastings with people?
Yes, I do offer. Yeah, just in this house.
Ah,
so,
nice.
Yeah. People can come by. Lots of it's long-term tea friends. Sometimes they will ask,
That's so
can
nice.
I come over to have tea?
That's so wonderful.
Yeah. I like to share the experience with people, and then have a conversation. Not necessarily have to be tea conversation, just conversation about
That's right.
life and yeah.
I love that.
I think tea just a very good media.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think tea also personally teach me a lot. Yeah.
Can you say more about that?
No, just like what I mentioned before. No, you don't wait. Just take it when you brew the tea, and then you put your mind there, and then you taste the tea, and then you just pay attention to that, but you don't attach to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't attach. You just admire. Oh, wow, this tea has this kind of wonderful, amazing taste and note, and then that's it.
And that's it.
Yeah,
That's
and
enough.
then next time will be a different, maybe different experience.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I say, but I want the tea that I had that other day.
No.
That was the best. Why can't this tea be like that tea?
Yeah. So when I go back to Taiwan, visit tea farmers and tea master there, I taste their tea, but I never can make the tea as how they make it.
Sure.
Yeah, because it's just different.
Different.
Yeah.
Yeah. The altitude is different. You're different.
Yeah.
That's right.
The way they make tea is very different. Then yeah.
How would they make it then?
Well, usually in Taiwan, they use lots of tea. For example, here, I only use 4 grams of tea. Use the same, let's say we use the same gaiwan, one of tea vessel, and then same size. I will use 4 grams. They will use 8 grams.
Wow.
So it will be very, very,
Two scoops.
very, yeah, very, very strong.
Very strong.
Yeah. So when I taste the tea, I just need to imagine that when it's 4 grams, how it will taste. But of course, you always can taste the essence. You know, oh, that's a very good tea.
Yeah.
Even though it's 8 grams, it's very strong. Sometimes it can be bitter, but over years, you taste what's inside the bitterness. Here, people always try to avoid the bitterness.
That's right.
But the bitterness actually it's the quality of the tea. And then if it's good tea, the bitterness can turn into sweetness in your mouth.
Right.
Yeah. So, or the tea master, how they make the tea during the making process, it can naturally kind of reduce the taste of bitterness or bring out more more sweetness or creamier taste during the tea making process.
I love that.
Yeah.
So for the people, again, who are brand new, do you mind telling them what the gaiwan is that you mentioned?
Gaiwan is like this. I like to use gaiwan because it's very easy, and then you can clean it very easily. So after you use, you just rinse it off. Of course, using the like Yixing teapot is very good too.
Yeah.
But a new teapot, you need to season it. And then also you need to clean it. And then, no, you cannot leave the tea leaf inside too long and forget about it and then get molded. Then that teapot is ruined.
Yeah.
And then different, the clay pot, some just use for pu'er tea, some you just for oolong.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, you need to have maybe a couple different one to make different type of tea.
Yeah.
But the gaiwan, you can use this to make all kinds of tea. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe, to use for the pot, maybe certain kinds of pots are better for steeping teas that like hotter water or longer steeping, things like that. Because I noticed the gaiwan cools off much more quickly than a pot.
Well, if it's a very good one, it can retain the heat quite well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So for beginner to practice using Gaiwan, I would recommend that no, you don't put the tea leaf inside. You can pour in like cold water or even warm water, just to practice how to use it, because you kind of need to use one of your finger to press down the lid.
Yeah.
And then, but it's not completely covered. You need to have a tiny gap that the tea pull out. So you press it down, and this middle finger and thumb hold it like this. So you can do
just to serve the tea.
Yeah, you just pour the tea into a call this a
glass.
Yeah, a pitcher, a small
that's
pitcher.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, and I can get. If you use hot water, don't pour too much. Otherwise, it can be really hot. Burn your finger, just probably 80%, and then you wait for the tea, maybe 20 seconds. Yeah. And then you can pick it up like this, and then you pour the hot tea inside.
Ah, beautiful.
Like this. So for beginner, just try to use cold water to practice the movement
so you don't burn yourself.
Times. Yeah.
Because you'll definitely make a mess the first few times.
Once you get used to it, it's very easy to use. Yeah. And then there are all kinds of Gaiwan, all kinds of patterns. You can choose the pattern you like.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the fun of tea cultures. Is there's so much art associated with the poetry, beautiful scenery like the tea houses, or just being in a lovely place with friends. So much of tea culture has so much art and beauty associated with it that I just find it wonderful.
Yeah.
And so what is this tea here?
This is one of the high mountain oolong from Taiwan called Huei-Ling. So it's a very high altitude. It's around 2,600 meters, very, very high. So very limited production.
Sure.
Yeah. Because the altitude. Yeah.
How are you lucky enough to get it?
Well, I know a tea farmer like already over 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So I trust him.
Yeah.
So I trust his tea. Yeah. So
that it doesn't have pesticides and that it's good quality.
No.
And,
yeah.
Gosh, that can be difficult. How wonderful.
Taiwan is getting more and more. There are lots of tea farmers that they try to do natural farming. So that's my direction too. So I want to bring in the tea that either organic or natural farming. So there are farmers that they start this like because their tea plantation is above the dam that which supplies the water for the whole Taipei city. So they decide not to use any pesticide. They just do natural farming. So for them, it's a learning curve too.
Yeah,
They need to sacrifice a lot because you don't use any pesticides.
Right.
The crops that not doing so well.
Yeah.
So the quantity also reduce a lot.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, but they have been doing that for over 10 years. They are getting better and better. Their tea. Yeah, and then people really appreciate that they make that effort, and then also people have the conscious that about natural farming.
Yes.
And organic tea.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is a really important shift to make.
Yeah.
I was reading about how certain teas, some of their complex flavors come because they're attacked by insects.
Yes.
And so they defend themselves by producing chemicals, flavors that we enjoy. The bugs don't enjoy them. And so I wonder if using pesticides also stops some of those flavors from developing, because the pesticides are chasing the insects away rather than having to, the plants having to defend themselves.
The tea that you mentioned about is called Dongfang Meiren, or Eastern Beauty. So I think that's the summer tea. Usually, people really go for the high mountain oolong because only harvest 2 times a year, either in the spring or in a spring tea or winter tea, because the high up in the mountain. So the temperature, the difference during daytime and nighttime is very, very big. So it actually make the tea leaf grow slower, but the content in the tea leaves actually much, much better than the lower altitude tea.
Gosh.
So of course, harvest 2 times a year is better for the plants anyway. Yeah, but the Dongfang Meiren is summer tea. It's not high mountain oolong. And at the beginning, like people don't like it because it looks it's not pretty.
Yeah.
In the summer, like tea just grow like wild, and then because and then the insects come because summer there are lots of the tiny grasshopper. They bite the tea leaf, make it doesn't look nice.
Yeah, it's literally chewed up.
Yeah. The people like, no, this is not going to be good because people want the tea leaf looks good, looks beautiful, right? But surprisingly, because the insect bites, it create the natural chemical reaction, the enzyme and then the tea. So it has those natural honey taste of the Eastern Beauty. So they even offer that to the Queen of England. That's the nice. Eastern Beauty. She named that tea Eastern Beauty.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. So now it's become very, very popular. Yeah.
How funny. Yeah. And it's such a good lesson. I think it's just like people, that we have an idea. This is what beauty looks like. But sometimes it's the difficulties that we go through that develop the characters, whether it's the flavor in the tea or the aspects of our nature. We share that with all nature, or whether it's the fluff that we carry around with us.
Yeah. So even now, like still, like if you have one acre of tea plantation for Eastern Beauty, like okay, the summer come, the insect bites, but you cannot control how much they eat.
Yeah.
So usually, like at the end of that, maybe only 1/3 left.
Oh, yeah. It's too delicious. That's funny. Yeah, even in you're talking about natural farming, and I've lived on natural farms, and even now I'm trying to garden in that way. And we always, rather than using too much pesticide and other kinds of chemical controls, we just plant. We assume that 30% is going to go to the insects and the birds and the animals that come by and dig things up. So we always plant that extra 30% and just say, okay, this is for you. And hopefully they stick to that. And you just assume that that's how it's going to go. And so, yeah. And so you grew up in Taiwan? Do you mind telling them where?
I was born on a small island called Mazu because my parents worked there. My mother was an elementary school teacher, and my father, he worked for the government. Yeah. So I was born there until I was 5. So we moved to the main island, Taiwan, to receive education.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and then also because the job. Yeah, so we moved. Yeah.
Just like here in Seattle, people.
Yeah, but I have very fond memory of the island. I still remember the drills, because it's very close to mainland China. So we always have drills. We have to hide inside the
Oh,
bunker
wow.
and then be quiet the whole time. You
Yeah.
cannot talk.
Gosh, wow.
And then, but also because the island and lots of fishermen, so that's their livelihood.
Right.
So they go out to go fishing, and then in the evening they come back. We have fresh fish and all these amazing food,
Right.
seafood.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right from there, yeah.
Yes.
Gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the yeah. And then at that time, when we need to wash clothes, we still need to go to the well.
Wow.
Yeah. And then so people just washing clothes and chat and yeah. I love that. Yeah, it's a very fun memory.
Now to have that kind of social experience, you have to go on to social media and type, "I'm washing my clothes."
By the wheel.
"I'm drinking tea." Different time.
Yeah.
I'm curious about where, as you grew in your knowledge of tea and your own personal experience of tea, did you study with anyone in particular? Was it more just personal gathering of information over time?
You know, of course, the family influence, right? Tea is part of the culture, so we drink tea. You know, even when we were very young. But when I was around early 20, I have a friend that she actually worked for a very famous tea house in Taipei. So she, you know, work there like every night after the tea shop close. They need to do their own training. So they need to do tasting,
Wow.
things like that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
she's very knowledgeable. So I have tea with her all the time,
Nice.
once a week.
Wow.
So she will teach me things about tea
Yeah.
and how to make tea, and then we visit a tea master or tea farmer together. That's how I learned.
That's really neat.
And then every year go back to Taiwan, I visit a tea farmer and tea master.
Wow.
Always have something new to learn.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
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 Gosh, the world of tea is so beautiful.
Yeah. Of course, more like intellectual side, or read books about tea.
Sure, yeah.
And then this is more about knowledge and more technical. But there's another side, of course, your own living experience.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. You make tea every day. You have a conversation with tea every day.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you listen to the tea.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that ability to listen and to experience what you're experiencing in the moment. This is, I think so many people, they interact with their tea, but everything in their life by not being there with it. They drink the tea, they go through a whole pot of tea, they didn't taste any of the tea. Maybe they got a caffeine high from it, and that's why they drink it. And so it may be terrible tea, or it may be the most amazing tea, but they would never know. And I feel like that ability to listen and to digest and to change as you're drinking it is something that you can practice with the tea. It's something I've learned from tea over the years.
Yeah.
And that has helped me in relationships and in conversations, and the ability to listen and to change as I'm listening and to grow, I think is a thing that you can practice, even in something as simple as sipping tea.
Yeah, I have a few very amazing. For me, it's an amazing tea experience. Just at the early stage of my tea journey, like my friend I mentioned about brought me to a tea master. He's very, very experienced, and then won lots of rewards and things like that. And then we went there to taste his tea. There's one of the competition grade oolong. So he only used 2 grams of the tea leaf, and then he brewed the tea, and then I taste the tea. once I sipped the tea, I was so moved by the tea because, and then how much effort he put into making tea. Because the taste that it's very floral, but it's not just one note. You can taste it immediately. It's transforming. Maybe from gardenia transformed to orchid or things.
Wow, yeah.
I was in tears. Just that experience. And then even though it's very sensual, but just thinking about how he devoted his life to make good tea.
I love that.
Yeah.
Gosh. And because at least the people that tend to come to watch this channel, they're interested in meditation, personal cultivation, these kinds of things. I'm curious if you have insights, and you've already shared some, about how to develop the ability to experience something that deeply, like tea. And for you, you've obviously cultivated that ability. Can you share what has helped you learn to experience things that deeply? Not an easy question.
Well, just I think just like Shifu say, right? Once you learn a new form or new qigong, you at least practice 100 days.
Yeah.
And then you will see the difference. I think for tea too. Of course, you don't need to be like so rigid. I have to do this, do that. But just in a way that you are interested in how to make a good cup of tea or how to enjoy it, and then how to learn from the tea. I think the tea is it's a gift from the nature, and then the tea master, the technique, it's they how to present the tea to the world, to the people who drink the tea. For me, it's almost like the 天人合一. The tea is from the nature, from the heaven, and then the person who make the tea or brew the tea and make it become one, that, and then bring it out to the world. Yeah. And then for the have deeper experience, just keep drinking the tea, and then pay attention to it when you make the tea. No matter it's having tea with friends or just by yourself, kind of pay attention to it. Yeah, it's a meditation. It's a lifestyle.
That's right.
It's mindfulness. Right. When you pay attention to it, and then I think you'll notice that when your mood will influence the taste of tea too. You when you are not at peace, the tea will taste.
That's right.
Yeah.
A taste of frustration.
That's
right.
Yeah.
The bitterness of anger finds its way into your tea, and we think it was there the whole time when it's really inside us.
Yeah. So, I think also because all these years, aging, gradually you have have a deeper experience.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it become part of my life. Yeah. It's not just a so-called commercial product anymore.
It's not just a thing that you bought and you.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I buy the tea because I really like it. I really enjoy it. And then I think it brings lots of joy to me.
And I know that, yes, that for people who are looking to learn more about tea or to purchase tea, of course, all of the links where you can find her or get information or ask questions. They'll all be down below, and so please do check them out. Click them all, look around, and learn as much as you can. And yet for people who are, maybe some of the people here, they live in Southern Africa or they live in Morocco and other places, do you have recommendations about how they can move into the world of tea and find good quality tea? Because I remember when I first started and I didn't know anything about tea, everything that I knew was the bag, dust tea or something and it tastes terrible no matter what you do. And so I thought, oh, tea is terrible. And then I was lucky enough that a tea house opened near me, and the tea master invited me in and said, here, try this. And it was a whole new world. But not everybody has that gift of someone coming to them and saying, here, enjoy the tea. How would you recommend they start that journey, if it's possible for them? What makes a good tea?
If they can find a local tea shop, not just one, I think for beginner, you can go into the tea shop, of course, to have some tea with the tea shop owner, taste the tea. And then first you can choose the tea that you like. That's important. When you drink the tea, you like the tea, right? When you like the tea, it's a good tea.
That's right.
Yeah. So some people like, oh, I introduce you like $1,000 per ounce. Yeah, but when you don't have it, some people can't even tell what the difference. So I think at the beginning, the most important thing is that choose the tea that you like, and then maybe choose a teaware, like not too expensive, easy to use, even though just traditional, more English tea style, like ceramic teapot, and then you practice it. Even though we talk about there are many different factors that will change the flavor of tea or no, but there is thing that you can control is every time you use the same teaware, and then same amount of tea.
That's smart. Yeah.
For example, you 3 grams every time you weigh it every time you use 3 grams. And then I personally for tea I only use a boiling hot water for me, because in Taiwan too, here you have temperature. Oh, black tea.
Yeah, that's
green
right.
Tea. I don't really oh, of course you can do that too. But for me, once you pour the hot water, you put the hot water into this thermos. I use to keep it warm. It's already dropped 5 degrees.
Yeah, just by pouring it.
Yeah, just by pouring it. And then when you pour it into a teaware, it's another.
That's right.
Yeah. So okay, back to that. You do the practice. You use the same teaware. If you try to make oolong, and try not to use the teapot to make like herbal tea, like especially like peppermint, like have strong taste.
Yeah.
The teaware will have that taste.
Yeah, and then everything tastes that way.
Everything tastes like peppermint.
Right.
So just use that to make like oolong or whatever tea you choose. So just, and then practice every day. Pay attention. See like, oh, how, if you say, okay, steep 20 seconds, and then you taste it, and then if you don't like that taste, maybe next time steep 30 seconds.
Right. Yeah.
And then until you find the taste you like, and you remember. You remember how you brew that tea. And then gradually you are getting more and more familiar with it.
Such a good idea.
Yeah. And then you can go to another tea shop, or the same tea shop. You choose higher grade of tea, and then you compare these two, and then you will see the difference.
Yeah.
Or you go to another tea shop, get the same grade of tea or same type of tea, but maybe made by different tea maker or tea farmer.
Right.
Or different season.
Yeah.
Or different year. And then you compare.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you gradually you learn.
That's very good advice.
Yeah.
So that's the Jibin Gong of the...
That's the Jibin Gong. Yeah. You can control the amount of your tea, right? You put in, and then the tea word. The rest you can even count. Like, 20 seconds to have the feel
That's
about
right.
it. Yeah.
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 When I was first studying tea, once I discovered that tea house that finally gave me good tea, I ended up working there and studying cha dao with a lady and Master Juping. And I was lucky enough to be sent to the botanical gardens in that area. And there was just a tiny kiosk that was open, a miniature tea house. And we didn't sell anything. My job was just to give tea to the public so people could learn that tea tastes good, that it can be a nice experience, and just to give them a nice experience in the botanical gardens. But we only had 3 different kinds of tea. And so I got really good at making those kinds of tea. And it's true, I discovered that because we only had one thing to pour water out of. And so some I had to put the water straight in because it needed that, and I left it in there for a long time, a different kind of pour or something, so it could steep really hard and bring out the sweetness. And another one, I had to pour it from really far away so that by the time it hit, it was cooler. And then I poured it out really fast. Otherwise, it got really bitter.
Yeah.
And so I was so lucky to only have those 3 teas to get good at, and then I could bring out the best in those. And then every time they were steeped, it was a little bit different. The first one was really, the smell was really strong, and the third or the fourth one that was really sweet. And it's like a different tea every time.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It is. Yeah, that's why I encourage people to use Gaiwan. Yeah, there are different sizes, so you can get a small one, personal size. If you have no budget issue, but you just want to learn more about tea and then have fun practicing, you get a smaller teaware, and then you can use less tea leaves.
That's great.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and then one advantage of using Gaiwan is that some people say, I don't know how much tea leaves I should put in. Usually a single layer cover the Gaiwan, the bottom. That's it. Yeah. But of course, if you want that your tea tastes lighter, you can use the amount that you prefer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because good tea is what you enjoy.
Yeah.
Such good advice.
Yeah.
When you say a small Gaiwan, is this a small Gaiwan?
This one, I would say, it's good for 3 people, 3 or 4 people. But the fun thing is that, okay, even though maybe it's not good for 6 people, but we can use smaller cups. Right?
That's right.
Yeah, you can be creative. You don't need a big cup. You can use a smaller one, or you brew twice, put into this pitcher.
That's right.
So you will have enough tea to share with 6 people. And this one, I would say, just a very standard size. Probably 150 cc.
Okay.
Yeah, but they are smaller. Yeah.
How fun.
Yeah. And then, even choosing the Gaiwan, it's better go to the store. You kind of try it. Just use the water to try. When you pour it, is it easy to pour?
Right.
Sometimes when it's not making it so well, it will splatter. Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting. So because of the the size of the curve or how the
Yeah,
seals?
yeah,
Okay.
the way how they curve or
Okay.
yeah.
That's really good to know. So you have to try it before you know if it's good or not.
Yeah, you just do it yourself.
Right.
Yeah, try a different one. Yeah,
That's really good to know.
yeah. And then this one actually is from the China, the Jingde Zhen. The Jingde. That's they make the teaware and then yeah, it's from a famous place.
Oh, Jingdezhen is
Yeah,
a famous
Jingde
okay.
Zhen is for Taiwan. And then this I ordered this during the COVID. So it took a long time.
Yeah.
Because this guy one has need 20 procedures. So because of COVID, everybody take turn to come into the workshop to do their thing. So maybe each day one procedure.
Wow.
So somebody drew and somebody that it's
That's
it's
really
fun.
funny.
So it takes 20 people.
Because people couldn't work all together.
Yeah,
at that
yeah,
time.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. COVID changed
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. And then because they use good quality material to make it, and then it can retain the heat very well. Yeah.
That's really good to know because I had assumed that all Gaiwan sort of shed their heat very quickly. And so I really appreciate knowing that.
Yeah.
Do you have other recommendations for people who might want to pursue tea more as a formal or ceremonial practice? So there is that side of tea.
Yeah. Of course, there's Japanese tea ceremony. I know.
The most formal.
Yeah. And then I know the UW, they have some sort of class to offer. And then for more Chinese style or in Taiwan, people do offer classes, and then it's like go to how do you say the taekwondo or you have different level,
right?
So they will yeah, you take the class, you learn the basic how to brew tea, and you learn all kinds of tea wares or the name of the tea ware, all the yeah, all that you can at the end you can get a certificate.
That's
you can
wonderful.
be a teacher. Yeah.
You get a belt.
Yeah,
my tea belt.
Use a different color belt.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like the green is the highest level belt.
Yeah.
That's really neat. And also, I wanted to ask, because of your knowledge in Tibetan Buddhism, in that world, is there anything that you can share about maybe that perspective of tea, or just any wisdom that I can draw upon? It's a world that's so rich. There's so much wealth there. I know that it relates through the world of tea, and it's something that people can learn from. And so this is my excuse to ask you.
It's I think just back to what I say that about just pay attention, the mindfulness, and then not attached to it. Like especially like pu'er, right? That's the world of pu'er, the raw pu'er, because the post fermentation, it just changing all the time. The flavor, the taste, and then the appearance of the tea, it change. Even just within one season, right? One day it's raining, when you pull out the pu'er tea cake, it tastes different.
That's really interesting.
Because the moisture in the air.
Yeah.
And when it's sunny, it tastes very bright.
Wow.
Yeah. So lots of people like buying lots of pu'er, try to age it, and then I think I like the idea too, because you can see how the tea change, but at the same time you have to think that the impermanence.
That's right.
Yes, we will never know.
That's right.
Yeah, so people try to age the pu'er thinking about 50 years later, we are going to try it. It will taste amazing, but nobody,
That's right.
you'll never know.
You never
Yeah,
know.
never know. Yeah.
Even if you'll be here to taste it.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I remember 2 years ago when I went back to Taiwan to visit a pu'er tea master. She always go to Yunnan province because pu'er only from the Yunnan province. So every year, like March, she will go there to select the tea leaf, purchase the tea leaf, and then make the pu'er cake there. So I visit her every year when I visit Taiwan. So it was a wonderful experience. She always invite other tea friends together. We taste the pu'er.
That's so nice.
Yeah, and then I learned so much from it. And then there is an experience that day it was like drizzling. It was very wet and very damp in Taipei. And then of course it will say that not a good time to taste pu'er because it will have too much moisture. But we taste it anyway. So there's a pu'er that I tasted, and then it's like, what kind of? I cannot pinpoint what kind of taste. It's very grassy, but it's not. It's more than grassy. It's almost a little bit salty.
Interesting. Yeah.
That kind of taste, and then the tea friends sat next to me say that, are you thinking about moss? I say, yes.
Mossy.
Yeah, it's very mossy.
Wow.
Yeah, but at the same time, there are other flavor in that. And then I just feel that, wow. I thought about the name of that pu'er. It's called 100th. If I translate literally from the name Bai Hua Tan, it's 100 flowers surrounded a pound.
Wow.
And then that image just made me, wow, the moss. And then the pound.
Right.
And then outside it's raining.
That's perfect. Yeah.
So I can almost, yes, that's exactly that taste. you can taste the moss, and then also the rain on the rock by the pond.
Yeah.
That kind of, and then the steaming, that kind of taste. I was like, wow, that's such a wonderful experience. Even though it's usually not a good day to taste the tea, but it actually bring out that signature, that the environment, that flavor of that environment.
That was the thing that brought out what made the tea so unique.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Its namesake.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Mooncake thanks you. I really appreciate you. And so I'll include all of your links and information. Is there any special place that you prefer people to reach out to you, or where they can look up more information about you?
Just my website, timbertea.com. And then people always can reach out to me through email.
Okay.
Yeah, timbertea@gmail.com. Or there's a phone number.
Wonderful.
They can text me. Yeah. If people want to come over to do tea tasting.
Yeah.
I'm always welcome.
Yay.
Yeah.
Come meet Mooncake.
Yeah. If you don't mind my humble house.
It's the perfect environment to taste tea. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John.
Gosh.
Yeah.
And thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yay.
That's our tea.
Hooray.
Yay.